Yes, I'm finally back, YouTube. I'm finally going to review Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019. Consider this like a bonus video after, movies from the past 100 years. I took a break. It's summer. I'm finally doing YouTube videos again. It's good to see you guys. I missed you guys. I haven't done a video since like my last video was like back in June the 16th or 18th. It's been a while. I'm back. Let's do this. Now, I didn't review I had done this review before, but what happened was that the sound got cut off. Hopefully this time the sound will be intact. This is the 2019 King Godzilla King of the Monsters, directed by Michael Dougherty and starring, well, Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Bradley Whitford, etc., etc., etc. You don't really care about the cast in this anyway. Most people didn't. I like some people, but I'll get to that. Now, this movie did not bomb. People say, "Oh, it didn't make money." It made enough worldwide to be, stable. I will say that it did better than freaking Dark Phoenix, and I will say why. Because Godzilla has a more appeal to people overseas in Japan, because that's where he came from, and the original will never be topped, guys. Let's face it. And what's the plot of this movie? Basically, the humans. This is a few years after the last movie, so they do mention what happened in the first film. So this is not a sequel in name only, like Prometheus, a sequel, Alien Covenant. It takes place a couple of years after the events of San Francisco, where Godzilla fought the Mutos in the city, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, they don't mention him in this movie. They don't mention him, Bryan Cranston, or Elizabeth Olsen, but it's fine. We know what happened to them. And basically, you got these new group of people that are looking for Godzilla. Basically, the monsters are waking up all over the world, and they're causing havoc. They wake up the monsters frozen in ice and whatever, and they run amok. Well, in the case of Rodan and Mothra, they fly. The first kaiju you see, I'm going to say some spoilers here because the movie came out a month ago and not a lot of people saw it, but there's going to be some minor spoilers. Now, I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, but I'm going to say some spoilers. The first monster you see is Mothra. They show her the CGI larva version of her. She looks great. I like the upgrade. I like when she turns into a moth at the end, and the wings are beautiful. It's good to see Mothra on the big screen. They had some of the music for her. There's a lot of fan service in this movie. You have the four monsters from the original kaiju. You have Gojira himself, Godzilla, who has a lot more screen time in this one. You have Rodan, who looks freaking awesome. I like the way he looks. You have Mothra, who starts in larva form and becomes a flying moth like halfway through the movie. And then they introduce Ghidorah, King Ghidorah, aka Monster Zero. That's a fan service. That's an Easter egg from Godzilla versus Monster Zero. And they all fight. That's basically the movie. The human characters, yes, they spend a lot of time with the human characters and they're kind of dull. But I will say this: some things happen in this that I did care for more than in the first movie. There's more Godzilla in this movie. The monster fights are awesome. The CGI is amazing. I love the score in this movie. They actually start the movie with Godzilla's roar, and it has that awesome theme dun, 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 throughout the movie. There's this tribal roar that reminded me of Black Panther, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I was just cheering in the theater. I'm like, that is freaking awesome. That's what I wanted to see in an American Godzilla movie. It really brings atmosphere and a lot of gravitas to this movie that didn't stand a chance because Endgame made all the money this year, guys. Sorry. But yeah, it says that the film needed to make 500 to break even, but it can still do that. It's already at 376, so it's getting there. Unlike Dark Phoenix, I didn't stand a chance. But anyway, the film does have its issues. Like I said, the lead girl sucks. I know they're going to say, oh, you just hate her because she's British, just like Aaron Taylor Johnson was in the first movie. No, she's awful in this. She is so unlikable. She's just there to name all the monsters, and then she gets saved by Godzilla like half the time because she can't die because she's going to be in the next movie. I don't watch Stranger Things. I don't care for that show. I know I'm going to probably get hate for that, but I don't have Netflix, so I don't watch that show. I don't like her American accent. It slips half the time. I prefer Tom Holland as an actor. Sorry. I'm invested in a Spider-Man. I like him as Peter Parker. This girl, I don't even remember her name. She's so forgettable. I got to look it up. Also, Vera Farmiga's unlikable in the movie. It's basically her fault that most of the monsters get loose, pretty much, because she's like got this obsession that no, we need these monsters to be preserved so that they can save this planet from destruction. I'm like, these are giant Japanese monsters that destroy cities. The only one that does it without, intent is Mothra because she's a beautiful, god that goddess that is worshipped by these island folks, and she only destroys things when they take the fairies. Which no, the fairies are not in this movie. The Infant Island fairies are not here. But yeah, there's a lot of fan service. Zhang Zi says King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah is freaking awesome in this movie. He's way better than the Mutos in the first movie. He has freaking the lightning coming out of his mouth. He looks great in CG. The heads are freaking huge. There's a scene where O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son says, "You have got to be fucking kidding me." Yeah, see, that's how you use an F bomb right, Dark Phoenix and freaking Apocalypse. Also, I love the end credits. They put the music from most of the films. They put the Mothra theme, they put the Godzilla theme, and they even have a nice nod salute to freaking Haruo Nakajima, the original man that played Godzilla in the 1954 classic. I love that. That's a reason alone to love the movie for the fact that Haruo Nakajima was acknowledged because he is the original man in the suit. And while this is not a man in a suit, it's a nice nod. Also, the post credit scene, I'm going to spoil it just in case you haven't seen it. It's not too much. It's just one scene. Charles Dance is a villain in the movie. He's barely in it though. He's not really that threatening. He tries, but he's just there to try to control the monsters. And at the end of the movie, he sees Ghidorah's head. There's like a piece of Ghidorah's head, which is kind of like an homage to Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and he's going to revive King Ghidorah to fight the monsters later on in the film. In the next movie, which is Godzilla versus Kong. That's going to be awesome. That alone will sell itself. There is no Endgame next year. There's only Black Widow, and that's coming out in May. This movie's going to come out in March, unless it gets delayed. But I have more hope for that movie than New Mutants. I'm going to say that right now because at least with Kong, he'll deliver enough for fans to be interested. And let's face it, guys, most of the people in these giant monster movies are very forgettable in the first place. Unless you count the original Kong, the original Godzilla, and some of the later sequels, some of the movies have forgettable casts. Raids Again, I don't remember the characters that much. Freaking Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, I don't remember them that much either. Godzilla's Revenge, the worst of the franchise. It's a little boy, some old man, and Minya who talks. There is no Minya in this movie. This film is better than that one easily because of action's better. It's grander in scale. It is a long movie, but it doesn't feel too long. But like I said, admittedly, Barbara Brown doesn't ruin the movie for me because there's a lot of scenes without her. Kyle Chandler, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was great. He's no Bryan Cranston, but he at least is American and he's trying. He's really trying with this material. That's not the strongest, but it's not horrible. Critics gave it a 40%. It is better than Dark Phoenix, I guarantee you. If you hated that movie, this is not as bad. The monsters alone are worth watching. And they're like, oh, that's only 25% of the movie, but then you have these boring characters. Some of them are boring, but some of them are trying. Like I said, Kyle Chandler, O'Shea Jackson, they're giving at least a performance. Thomas Middleditch, while he's just he's like not Taylor Lautner, he's like T.J. Miller in Deadpool or in Cloverfield. He's the comic relief, basically. And I like that the fact that they killed off Sally Hawkins in this movie. I hated her in the first movie. Her death here comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, good. I didn't care about her. I wish she died in the first movie. She was useless. She's Serizawa's bitch in the first movie. And also, I like what they did with Ken Watanabe in this movie. It's a great nod to the original. They mentioned the Oxygen Destroyer. Yes, it's fan service, but it's done well. It's not like the new Star Wars where everything is fan service. We have to bring characters back from the originals and use the original score and bring back the freaking opening crawl and throw in freaking, things that don't belong in there. Like, oh, look, there's C3PO and R2D2 in Rogue One and Darth Vader, who has an awesome scene, but they don't do much with him. Or a CGI Leia. No, I don't want that kind of fan service. I'd rather have the real fan service, the stars of the movie. The monsters are the stars. You even have new kaiju that show up in the movie. You have another Muto. You have this giant mammoth thing. You have a giant spider, like in Destroy All Monsters. That's cool. See, that's what I wanted. Is it the best summer movie? No, but it is far from the worst. Oh God, it is not far from the worst. And the fact that I had to wait this long to review it, it's awesome, guys. Give it a chance. If you can't see in the theater, wait till it comes out on Blu-ray in August. You will not be disappointed. They criticize it the pacing. Yeah, it takes a while for the monsters to fight, but and the tone, but it's not as dark and bleak as the first one. I like this a little bit more than the first one because the first one, they had to cock tease. There was no cock teasing in this, like in the first one. They do show Godzilla a lot more. Even when he's sleeping, they show him a lot more. And Doherty, I like better as a director. He did Krampus, which is a better movie than anything that Gareth Edwards has done. And yeah, while it's not perfect, it's still a better monster movie like than freaking Pacific Rim 2. I'll take this over Pacific Rim 2 any day. And I'll take Kyle Chandler over Aaron Taylor Johnson in the first one. And like I said, even though Millie Bobby Brown, I don't care about a character or Vera Farmiga. Vera Farmiga is not going to be in the next one, and she's probably going to be reduced in the sequel because it's about Godzilla and Kong fighting each other. So that's all I care about. I watch these monster movies for the monsters, and there's plenty of them in this. It's not like you have to wait 2 hours for it. But yeah, it says, yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong is scheduled to be released March 12th, 13th, 2020. I'm hoping for the best, man, because this movie didn't make as much as it should have. If it came out in the winter, it would have done a lot better. If they released this in February instead of freaking the Lego sequel, I think it would have done better. Or March after Captain Marvel. Just saying, guys, this was a summer full of cluttered freaking sequels and reboots we didn't want. MIB, International, freaking Shaft, it did nothing. Anna, some freaking action spy thriller with a freaking Russian lady. We're getting Black Widow next year. I think we're fine. Um, you had freaking Dark Phoenix. That didn't do well, and it deserves to bomb. This will have a second life on Blu-ray. This is going to lead to another movie, unlike The Mummy that came out a couple years ago, the 2017 Mummy, which was trying to set up a universe and it didn't have a foundation from the start. Here, the MonsterVerse is still alive and well, no matter what. Godzilla's flopped before, and he comes right back up because he's a great monster, my favorite movie monster. And this film will be in my top 10 of the year. Not in my top five because I think Spider Man's going to be better definitely. Frozen 2 hasn't come out yet. Joker hasn't come out yet, so we still got some blockbusters to go. I never give up hope, guys. I left YouTube for a while to you know breathe because I've been so stressed out this year. People giving me stress on YouTube and Facebook and in the comment section. Just it's been hard, and I've had a lot of family issues, but I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to go there, but this movie's awesome. If you miss it in the theater, see it on Blu-ray or digital because it's worth your time. It's not horrible like the critics say. They hated Glass also, and I've heard good things about it from audience members. I just want to be entertained, guys. That score alone I could hear for hours because it was great. They acknowledge the original films. They're not embarrassed by the original films. And also at the end, when Godzilla's breathing this fire, at the end, it's awesome. And I clapped. So what? This is not as bad as some DC movies I've seen in this decade or some Marvel movies done by Sony or Fox. Trust me, you know what they are. This is not that bad in comparison. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm finally back. July's going to be movies so bad that they're good. This is not one of them. This is a good movie. Just it was a misunderstood movie and, miscalculated. So it didn't make $1 billion. So what? It'll still rise again. And I can't wait to see him fight Kong next year. So thanks for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys in July. Have a good one.